for our monthly marketing webinar. Today we have Allison, Benson, and Jamie Kelly here to talk about how to improve your digital marketing with video, which we know is a really hot topic right now and a big deal. It's no longer a question of if you're doing video, but how you're doing your video. So without further ado, I'll let you guys take it away.
Thanks, Molly, for having us, and hello, everybody. As Molly mentioned, today we're going to be talking about improving your digital marketing with video. We have several sort of core components that we want to go over with you. First, we want to cover why it matters, and perhaps that point is self-explanatory to a certain extent these days, but there are a few important things that we want to make sure you guys are understanding. How to best make use of video on your site, how to best make use of video elsewhere online, not just your website, and then also some tips and tricks in terms of what can go into producing your own videos. It does not have to be a top dollar professionally produced video in order for it to be effective. You know, a high production value certainly but it's not the only method that you have available to us. So I guess first let's start with why online video matters. Now, Allison, we preach content a lot when we're on these webinars and on our website ourselves, but why video? What's so important about video?
So video is important because people's attention spans are short. So it's been found that people don't like reading. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase, too long didn't read, but too much text tends to be overwhelming and can be tedious sometimes. So Microsoft actually did a study back in the spring of 2015, and they found that people's attention spans were reduced to less than that of a goldfish, so about 8 seconds. But to compensate, in those, because their attention spans are shorter, they have short bursts of high attention, which means if you're able to grab their attention in that first few seconds, that first few moments, they're more likely to remember you and think of you next time that they need that information.
So are visitors responding positively to this sort of thing? If they're not reading, are they responding positively to the video that they're being presented with instead? Definitely.
People are drawn to video because it allows them to get a feel for what the company is like, their persona, who they are, what it's like to work with them. If you've ever heard the phrase, a picture's worth 1,000 words, think about how many pictures are in a video. So nowadays with technology, there's more video-centric technology. Think like Snapchat, Boomerang, which allows you to make short videos and integrates with things like Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, and other social media. YouTube has reported that year over year, people are consuming more videos, and it continues to rise over 100% every year. One study actually said that 70% of users would share a branded video if they found it entertaining. So people are willing to share things that they find amusing or they relate to emotionally.
You see it all the time too, especially after like the Super Bowl. You see all these commercials that were hilarious that everybody enjoyed during the Super Bowl. They share it on Facebook, they share it on social media after the fact. So it's definitely getting users engaged and spreading that awareness on your behalf if you're doing a good job with it.
Right, exactly. Think about the ones that get shared, like the ones that are tearjerkers or the ones that made you feel something. So.
I think that's very interesting too, because the point is that they're sharing videos that they are connecting with emotionally to some degree. It's not that they're sharing a video from Doritos because they really like Doritos. It's because it was the content itself that was delivered, and the producer of that content is almost irrelevant to the fact that they're resonating with it. Now, how does this all play out with user experience when it comes to the business side of things? Consumers love video. I think that much is clear. But what do you do with that information if you're a business owner?
So if given the option, people are more likely to watch a video versus reading text of the same content. So if possible, if you have a video of that content and you assign it to the page, they're more likely to watch that video 60% of the time than read the content. Now, it's good to both have the option for them to read if they can't watch the video. So it's good to have both, but they're more likely to watch the video. And then when they are able to watch the video and get that information fast and digest it quickly, they're more likely to stay on your site an average of 2 minutes longer than if they were to just read text.
That's a pretty whopping statistic, and I think something that's pretty telling in terms of being able to sort of hit people with the 1-2 of written content as well as video content. You know, users more likely to watch video before they read, but that means 40% of users are going to be more likely to read than simply watch the video. That's not that huge of a difference. It's a 60-40 split. The content, I think, remains almost just as important and certainly serves a very important role as a complement to the video side of things.
Definitely.
Now, one area that I found very interesting here from the SEO side of things is that video content on site can have a dramatic effect on your organic rankings. You know, the videos aren't doing anybody any good if they're not being seen, but they can be extremely effective for you if they are getting you in front of more eyeballs and bringing more visitors into your site on a recurring basis. Now, we in the SEO department and personally Matt Casey, one of our digital marketing strategists, is to thank for this case study that's been ongoing for almost a full calendar year at this point. But he wanted to track the effect that having video on site would have on a site's organic visibility and the organic traffic that it brings in at the same time. And you can see dating back to July 2016, last summer, he started his baseline analysis for this client, and site-wide they were bringing in about 1,600 impressions from video search and 43 clicks from video search per month. Now, this is not the total number of organic impressions and clicks that they were receiving during that time period, but the number of impressions and clicks that were resultant from video searches or video results within the organic search results. And all he did was add videos to pages that didn't have videos on them. Those videos already existed by the client. This client actually produces their own videos in a sort of DIY capacity that are done very well. And all he did was add relevant videos to topics that already existed on the site. The videos already existed. The content already existed. All he did was bring them together and put them together. He added about almost 200 videos and brought it up to 44-45% of pages on site having video. And in just a few months' time, in September of 2016, they had increased the number of impressions they were getting from video searches almost 200% at 186%, and had almost 2.5 times increased the number of clicks they were getting. Now that was in, what, about a 90-day period, about a 3-month window. If we look at last month's statistics, the increases are even more dramatic, and over 500% increase in the number of impressions on site resulting from video searches, and over a 400% increase in clicks to the site in the past, 10 months now. So, video, it can be very easy to dismiss video as something for cool brands, and you don't really have a place within that space, but it can have a very dramatic effect on the amount of people that are seeing you and are coming to your website on a monthly basis. And don't be scared off by things like imagined high production costs and things. The relatively lo-fi self-produced videos, which we're going to cover later, can definitely be just as effective.
So what does that mean for your business? Well, video is found to be a proven conversion tool. So what that means is that you're building that trust right away. People are getting a feel for who you are, what it would be like to work with you. They're getting that valuable information quickly, and they can digest it and remember it. And it's encouraging engagement. And it's been proven time and time again that the more engaged your users are, the more likely they are to become a client and refer other potential users to become clients.
And I think these 2 points sort of build on each other. This building trust and encouraging engagement go sort of hand in hand. People like to work with people, and that means getting to know you and you getting to know them to a certain extent by putting yourself out there in your own videos. If they like what they see from you personality-wise and content-wise, that's going to go a long way towards, one, building trust, like you mentioned, Allison, but encouraging additional engagement, as you mentioned in some of those other metrics we were looking at. But so, perhaps we knew a lot of this already to begin with. Video is important. That's inescapable at this point in human history and digital marketing. But how should we best utilize the video? And if we're talking first within just the constraints of your own website, there's a few key considerations to keep in mind, two of which are sort of where to put your videos, how to best make use of them location-wise, and then also the ideal length for videos. I know that's a topic that gets asked a lot. Our customer service department handles that question quite a bit from people calling in, and we get asked that a lot within the services department as well. It's a topic that sort of has never been fully put to bed and is always changing, but there are best practices that we can adhere to, and I want to cover some of those as well. But first, let's cover how and where to utilize video within your website. Anybody using DSS probably already knows that there's a video player built into every single page automatically. If you're used to adding and creating content within DSS, you've probably done this yourself 100 times. There's just a very simple click to add button where it'll show all of your existing videos already, and you can very quickly, with a few mouse clicks, assign any particular video to whichever page that you would like to. Now, we work with a lot of people who like to take it a step beyond that. Perhaps having one video embedded at the top of the page isn't necessarily meeting the needs that they have for any particular piece of content. It's very common to embed videos within the body of an article as well, especially videos that you don't necessarily own. If you're showing a video that you found on YouTube or are sharing somebody else's video, you don't necessarily want to add it to your own video library, but you still want to point it out to visitors and make it available to them if they're coming to your site. And you can embed those videos very easily, again, right through DSS. I've included here on the screen, this top icon here shows you where within YouTube you can find the information to grab the embed code. There's this little share icon that you click, and then when you click that, you get several different options. You want the embed option. And then I've highlighted here also within DSS where you can click to paste that embed code that you get and just embed the video right in your site.
I just wanted to mention also, when you click the embed code, or when you go to grab the embed code, there's an option to uncheck a box that basically says share suggested videos. So if you don't want videos that you're not particularly selecting to go on your website to show up after the video is done playing, you just uncheck that box. That'll eliminate that issue. That's
an excellent point and a veteran move, Molly. You can find yourself in a situation sometimes if you do not check that box where, YouTube is in the business of keeping people on YouTube, and which is why they show those suggested videos at the end of whatever video. So if visitors are on your site watching a video that you've embedded on your page, they get to the end of that video and they're seeing suggested videos. Now, YouTube doesn't know, or if they do, they don't necessarily care that visitors are looking on your site. They could very easily be showing competitors' videos or other videos relevant to the topic at hand, but sort of inadvertently drawing people away from your own site, which is what you do not want to happen. So unchecking that box to turn off the option to show suggested videos is definitely a pro move, Molly. Thank you very much. Now, beyond, okay, very straightforward, let's make sure we add videos to the built-in section of your DSS pages, very straightforward. But beyond that, there's several unique ways that you can make use of additional video content on site. Some of the top-level pages on your site are great opportunities for top-level introductory, or as we call them, explainer videos. Your homepage, your practice or service service area pages are excellent places to demonstrate who you are, what you're about, the sort of, the top level information that introduces you to your new audience and lets them know at a very high level what it is you're interested in providing for them. But beyond that, there are several areas within your site that already exist that are also excellent candidates for some really unique video content. We see really great results from clients who go out of their way to generate really high quality either case result or testimonial videos. Sit down, you're the interviewer in this case, talking to the client that you worked with, walking the site visitor through the intricacies of whatever case is being discussed, and it gives you a really great opportunity to allow somebody else to vouch for you on your behalf. If you are hearing it right from other happy clients' mouths how great of a practice that you have, that's going to go a long way in terms of building that trust that Allison was talking about and improving just overall engagement with the site. The last area is one area where I often see a lot of missed opportunities and a really great area for you to really get fun and creative. These videos don't all have to be talking heads in suits explaining, comparative negligence laws or whatever the case may be. But get fun with it and allow people to express themselves creatively on your staff. About Us page, bio videos can be great for a sort of office tour type video. Let people sort of do their own thing within their own bio videos. All of those are great opportunities to humanize yourself and your staff and really demonstrate who you are beyond just a logo and a name on a desk. Now, I think that brings us quite naturally into video length, and I talked about how this has been a sort of perpetually debated topic, and any number of studies have been done, but these days they all seem to generally indicate more or less the same general parameters in terms of video length, and for the most part, short and sweet is better. If you keep your video somewhere between 60 seconds to 2 minutes, you're going to be right in the sweet spot for most users in terms of what they are anticipating and what they're willing to put up with in terms of watching video. 1 to 2 minutes, like I said, tends to have the highest amount of engagement with videos as well as future engagement with the site after they finish watching the video. And you can see by the graph here on the screen that user engagement and user participation tends to drop off rather quickly once you get past that 2-minute mark down to about 6 or 7 minutes or so. Now, in this study, engagement was measured by the user's willingness to watch the video in its entirety. If you hit play on a video and see that it's 90 seconds, you're going to be much more likely to tough it out than if you click play and see that it's 19 minutes and you actually had just gotten an email from your boss and didn't really anticipate planning to sit through a 20-minute video when you thought it was going to be a 2-minute video. So keep length in mind. Keep in mind that most browsing happens during the day. People are also at work during the day and don't necessarily have all the time that would ordinarily be required to devote to these particular topics. But that does not mean that in-depth topics do not deserve in-depth examinations from time to time. If you were studying that graph on the last slide, you'll notice that this is the same graph, but I'm looking at a slightly different portion of the sample size here. From about 6 to 12 minutes, there's a plateau in user engagement where people sort of re-engage. There's this second sweet spot of people willing to listen to what you have to say for more complex, more in-depth topics that require more than just a 60, 90-second, 2-minute video. There are plenty of videos out there that go much longer than this for sure, and you need to be able to gauge your audience's built-in level of interest. The length of video that you decide to be showing people may hinge upon where in the conversion process you are. If you're engaging with brand new visitors who have very simple top-level questions, short and sweet might be the way to go. If you're feeding people video in an email campaign because they've already engaged with you and are really interested in learning more in depth about this topic, feel free to feed them longer and longer videos, get them really engaged in learning everything that you have to teach about that particular topic. So these are general guidelines, of course, but don't, sticking to these is always going to be a good bet, but don't feel like you're tied to these numbers 100% of the time.
Jerry Oginski is one of our clients and an advocate of video marketing 100%. He does tons of videos and he does a great job with this. And I don't know if it's his actual rule or it's just something I've picked up on by watching his videos, but he seems to have a rule about if it's a question that he's answering, he keeps it really short and sweet and to the point. And then if he's telling a really interesting, fascinating client story, which is truly really interesting and fascinating, he'll go into a little more detail and depth and talk about what happened in the case, why it happened, what he did to defend the client, or what he did to prosecute the, and it really does capture your attention and keep you on the page, and it kind of makes you want to watch more videos and find out, well, what other interesting things have you dealt with?
Yeah, and Jerry does a really good job of it too. One thing that we could learn from him and from some of the others who execute video really well is don't be afraid to break up complex topics. If you sit down and talk to the camera for 30 minutes because that's the time it takes to say what you have to say about a topic, feel free to split it up into 4 or 5-minute videos and spread them out over the course of a week or so. Opportunity to tune in to the shorter portion if they only have a very specific interest in the topic, or if they like what they see, they can check out the entire series. Splitting things up into a lengthier series like that can be very effective as well. Now, one additional item that I wanted to touch on in terms of making best use of video on your site is defining your own video style. We talked about these sort of top-level explainer videos that are perfect candidates for your sort of professional business face in terms of this is who I am, this is who we are as a practice, this is what we do, and this is how we can help you. But those are not the only types of videos that you have to make. Some of those, about the firm and individual bio videos, case results and testimonials are all excellent opportunities to inject a little bit of your personality and personal flair into the videos. The more you are able to connect personally with the people who are watching these videos, the better chance you're going to have of connecting with them on a human level and keeping them engaged with the content that you're delivering to them. One final tip that I would be remiss not to mention, please never use autoplay on your videos. There's absolutely no reason for it. It is intrusive. It drives people away from the site. Like I mentioned, most people are browsing during work most of the time. If you blow their cover by starting a video, they are not looking for the mute button. They are looking for the X button to close their browser, and they are not coming back. So keep that in mind, and please, if you have autoplay currently on your site, I would recommend reevaluating whether that's exactly what you want to have. You will almost guaranteed to see a tremendous drop-off, decrease in bounce rate if you turn off autoplay, and can really improve site engagement overall. Now, that covers a lot of information about sort of best practices for on-site video, and a lot of those general principles remain true for promoting your videos off-site as well, but there are a few unique points that I want to make sure we get covered in terms of promoting your videos beyond just your website, the area where you have the most control. Social media is going to be the most obvious and perhaps also most useful area with which to stretch your legs and go beyond just your own website when sharing your videos. And several of the top social media sites have unique advantages and built-in inherencies that allow you to take advantage of video in different ways. If you're active on Facebook and you have an active following on Facebook, simply posting videos to your timeline in a regular recurring pattern the same way you would post any other content is a great way to just get in front of more people, make sure you're getting in touch with them through their preferred means of communication. People are on Facebook a lot, and if they don't have to leave Facebook to stay in touch with you, that fits right into their daily activities and doesn't require a change of pace from them. Beyond simply interacting with your own followers, though, you have a couple ways to make use of Facebook to get in touch with people beyond your pre-existing sort of friend circle. Boosted posts allow you to reach new audiences, people who don't necessarily follow your page to begin with. And depending on exactly what sort of videos you have at your disposal, it can be very effective to create an entire ad campaign centered around videos that you have. If you have a really strong call to action or really strong informational videos that you want to get in front of a highly targeted, specific demographic audience, Facebook is an excellent place to do that. The same applies for YouTube as well. The same way you want to be continually populating your Facebook feed with relevant new content, the same way you want to be generating continual content on your own site, YouTube is one area that you don't want to neglect, especially if you are producing video content on a recurring basis. You want to build out that channel, make sure that you're visible in video searches, and make sure that you're showing up for the topics that are being searched for and that you're talking about. YouTube often gets neglected when we talk about paid advertising, but it's something you shouldn't put out of mind completely. What they call pre-roll advertising, those videos that show before the video that you click on and actually want to watch, can be a great opportunity to, again, get in touch with a very highly defined targeted demographic audience. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, I never watch more than the first 5 seconds of those videos that they make me watch before I click the skip ad button, you're absolutely right, and that just drives home Allison's point from earlier about the importance of capturing people's attention immediately and doing everything you can to retain that attention. So YouTube is definitely an ad platform that is not for everybody, but with high quality video that speaks to a specific audience, it can be a very effective tool for reaching that ideal demographic for you. A couple other areas that you really would do well to keep in mind when trying to think of ways to promote your video are Instagram and your email campaigns, your email news. I say e-newsletters here on the slide, but this could very easily be other drip campaigns, any other sort of ongoing email correspondence you have with either prospective clients or just your herd in general. I want to point out here that Instagram is probably not the place to just post your highly produced videos on, topic X or topic Y. They can be great for on-the-fly sort of selfie-style videos. Here I am out at the whatever charity 5K. So great to be here. Thanks to so-and-so and so-and-so. Letting people know where you are, what you're doing, how you're involved with the community, both digitally and in person, can be very effective. Instagram's also a great place to experiment with sort of from your desk, tip of the day type videos, off-the-cuff, casual, again, personal, human, relatable videos. They don't all have to be shot in a professional studio on a $10,000 camera to be effective. The final point here about e-newsletters, drip campaigns, and just email marketing in general is that, again, you have this sort of volunteer audience. These are people who opted in proactively to receive communications from you. They are predisposed to listen to what you have to say more so than just the average visitor necessarily. And you don't want to neglect that, and you don't want to forget about that. As I mentioned earlier, these people in your campaigns already are great opportunities to experiment with some longer length, more in-depth, more complex videos. Feel free to experiment with things beyond that sort of that we mentioned otherwise. Now, here's something that we get asked a lot, and something that I know several of you are probably curious about yourself. But Allison, what do people need to know if they want to make their own videos?
That is a great question. I'm going to walk you through a couple things that we suggest keeping in mind if you're planning on creating your own videos. So, I mean, creating your own videos doesn't have to be expensive. Like you said, you can do some really personal ones, like off-the-fly, social. You can even do like professional ones that look really high quality with your iPhone, and it doesn't have to cost a ton of money. Some tips when you make your own videos: be sure to stabilize your camera. There's a lot of tripods out there that integrate well with your iPhone, or if you have a high-tech camera. The worst thing that you can do is have like that wobbly video. That's so distracting. So you want to make sure that it's stabilized. If you're doing like an action shot, make sure your camera man has a stable hand, or you're on like a rolling tripod. Be creative. Consider shooting multiple angles, like having a B-roll, or just like shooting multiple angles if you're going to do like an action shot, so it feels more dynamic rather than just like a straight-on talking head type video. If this is your first time, I would err on the conservative side and try to like work it in as you go and work up from there.
And
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the thing to keep in mind here for any of these is that, it's an editable medium. You can shoot as much as you want. If you're not happy with the result that you're getting so far, try again. You're probably not going to nail it the first time. If you do, consider yourself lucky because you just saved a ton of time. But don't sweat the small stuff. Feel free to experiment with stabilization, with, as you get, I know we're going to get into some lighting and everything, but there is a bit of a learning curve when it comes to producing videos, and don't be discouraged necessarily if you don't like your first attempt.
I know my very first attempt at creating a video was so wobbly. It was like making me nauseous. I was like, I can't watch this. But yeah, be prepared. Make sure that you write down what you want to say, like even if it's just talking points ahead of time. Practice your script so that you are able to convey the fully intended message and be clear on your points. So for lighting, there's a lot of things that can go wrong with lighting. Make sure that you're not like lighting from below, like you're not in a horror film, from behind where you can't see their face because they're just covered in shadows, or too much from above because that can also create shadows. The best light would be from the front. So you want to aim for their eye line at about 3 feet away, and then soft light tends to be the most flattering if you can make that happen. So some tips for creating softer light is using fluorescent bulbs. You can create or use larger lamps rather than smaller ones. They tend to be softer. And then if you've ever seen like a photo shoot, you'll see like they have those white reflectors that will also soften your light.
No, we talk about budget a little bit, but in lighting in particular, you've got a lot of leeway. Adjusting lighting could be as simple as rearranging some of the lamps in your room or taking a lampshade on or off and getting some directed lighting. There are several very affordable $100 to $200 lighting options that serve very well for anybody looking to step up a little bit in terms of production quality. And then, of course, you could spend as much as you wanted to on some sort of semi-pro or professional lighting setup. If you really felt like you wanted to drop 5 figures on professional photography lights, you certainly could, but do not feel that that is required in order to produce very high quality lighting and videos in general.
And take a look at their face, like through the camera. So that'll give you a good idea of where the shadows are and what that's going to look like on film. So definitely check through your camera when you're setting up the lighting.
Always important to remember.
So one of the most important things is audio. Nothing kills a video faster than poor audio quality. So if possible, you want to make sure that you're using a high quality microphone that has for clear sound, and make sure that it's close to the speaker's mouth so that you're not picking up the wrong thing, like their shoes or the traffic in the background, any rustling or voices off camera.
If every 11-year-old with a Minecraft channel on YouTube can have, high quality audio, there's no reason why videos looking to project them, or why businesses looking to project themselves professionally on video can't do the same thing. Again, it doesn't require breaking the bank necessarily. 50 to 100 bucks can buy a very nice microphone that will go miles in terms of improving the overall impression that you make on somebody with the video that you're producing.
And another thought on audio, if you can't get good quality audio, like say you're wanting to do like an action video and you can't get the audio at the time, you can actually edit that out and do like a voiceover type thing later, depending on what editing software that you're using.
Now, what about on location shoots? Where are the best places to shoot? You see a lot of people shooting just from in their office and at their desk or something, but what else can they be doing?
So they can be doing action shots on location shots. We saw a great video where they were walking down the streets, walking through the courthouse, just kind of like discussing the case to kind of give you an idea of like how they work. If you're going to be outside, the best lighting is going to be overcast weather because it diffuses the light. It's not too harsh like backlighting. It's not like your subjects aren't going to be squinty eyes looking at you.
In and out of shadows.
Right, exactly. And then if you're going to be inside, which is great for like instructional videos, ones where you're like not moving around as much, choose a conference room or a non-distracting background area, and if possible, supplement any overhead lighting, excuse me, with standing lights. And then if you're more advanced, you can try using a green screen. That allows you to pull out the green background and insert whatever background you like.
So if you want to look like you're on the mound at Yankee Stadium, you can.
A lot of things, something that people don't think about very often is that their makeup needs to be looking good. Powder foundation can help reduce shine even if you're a guy. That's something that we recently had a client. They're like, can you edit out the shine? We're like, no, that's part of the raw video. Like, that's not something we can edit out. So we recommend like powder foundation, maybe some blush if you're a guy. Make sure that you're checking for like last looks, like lipstick on your teeth. And make sure you're just enhancing your video. Don't overdo it. It's not like you're going to be like on a stage. You're just a little bit farther away.
No, I think it's 100% true, Allison, that some foundation and blush for also men can go a long way in towards evening out skin tones, making you just look as good as you can on camera. But men, I would say it's probably in your best interest to enlist the help of somebody who applies makeup every day rather than trying to do it yourself. You could easily ruin the look that you're trying to achieve overall. Now, do you want to, if you are somebody who wears makeup every day, do you want to go heavier than you would typically for on-camera stuff? Is traditional daily makeup not going to be noticed as well on camera?
Slightly. You want to just enhance it, like just a little bit darker than normal, but not overdone. You don't want it to be like that you can scrape it off your face.
It's not stage makeup.
Right.
I was just thinking you're talking to a ballerina here.
Yeah, there's a difference between
The stage
looking.
makeup and the on-camera makeup.
There's a difference
Very
between being 3
different.
feet from the camera and 80 feet from the back row.
Another thing that you want to keep in mind is what you're wearing. So avoid green if you're going to be used outside or using a green screen. Make sure that it looks professional, it's flattering on your body, and it stands out against your background. Bonus points if you want to match like the colors on your site, but that can be difficult to do if you're not like exactly sure. So when in doubt, go with neutrals. You can't go wrong with a professional looking suit.
Complementing the colors on site can definitely look great, but if you're not careful, you can clash, and that's going to look way
Exactly.
worse.
Some things to keep in mind are what you're doing with your arms. That's something that people don't think about until they're watching the raw video. They're like, wow, I look so awkward. So I recommend gesticulating if that's something that you do. It looks natural. Or if you're sitting at a desk, like have them on your desk or something. Don't just like have them at your sides like dead fish, because that's going to look awkward. Watch out for filler words, coughs, nervous tics, anything like that, because that's not something like that can be edited out very easily. If you do try to edit it out, it'll be choppy and your video is going to look weird. We recommend closing your mouth after your sentences to make sure that you have a chance to breathe, and if you're trying to get like a splash image from the video, it's very hard to get a splash image with like a closed mouth or a smiling face if you're continuing to talk for the entire duration of the video. And make sure to look out for like the neatness of your clothing, that your tie is straight, that your clothes are fresh pressed, and that you just look good.
And these are all just general best practices for public speaking. The advantage here is you can redo it if you don't like the way it went the first time.
Exactly.
So everything you learned from your communications class in college will do you well here. You just, again, have the advantage of being able to try again as often as you'd like.
So once you have your raw video, you're ready to edit it. So splice it, make it exactly how you want it, add any branding that you want to add. I have a couple recommendations for PCs, Macs, and then both that work with both Macs, PCs, or Linux. Windows Movie Player and iMovie come with your typical computer. And then if you want something really basic, Machete and Avid Max allow you to just splice it. They don't allow you to have any audio control, but they're very easy to use. And then once you get a little bit more advanced, Blender, Lightworks, and VSDC allow you more control.
And these are all very good consumer options available. You know, if you are working in a large practice or a large firm that is really interested in getting a what's close to a professional studio built in-house, there are even higher-end production level software available. Again, videography is something you can spend literally as much money as you want to on upgrades to equipment and post-production software. But the budget is a question we get asked a lot, whether it's what camera should I buy, is my phone going to be sufficient, what sort of lights should I buy, how much should I spend on X or Y. You can build for what I would consider the relatively low investment of $1,200 to $2,000. You could build a very high quality studio that you could use that's portable. It's you can get a retractable green screen, a camera and a tripod, 1 or 2 stand-up lights, and a little bit of post-production software. And the quality of videos that you're able to produce with that relatively minor upfront investment long-term are going to blow away anything that you produce using free software, shooting with your phone. But those can be very effective as well too. It's more about the message than it is about production value, but production value is absolutely something that gets noticed and can be a great benefit or a great detriment.
All of these tools have a free option. That's why I wanted to list them, but there's also paid tools out there if you want to do your research.
And any and all of these will have plenty of tutorials and how-tos as well available online to get you started if you really don't know what you're doing.
Pro tip, YouTube has a lot of tutorials on editing. So then once your video is ready to go and you get it loaded onto the site, sometimes you're going to notice that splash image, the first still in your video, is unflattering. It's like your eyes are half closed or you're doing something weird with your face. So you want to pick a new one. You can either upload a new, like a still image into DSS, or you can grab an image from the video. You just have to know like the second for DSS to grab it. So if you're going to upload it, make sure that you're keeping in mind that the image needs to be the video player size. So for Foster, you can see that it's 720 by 406. That's the size that my image should be when I upload it. And then when I go to save, I'm going to select Save Updated Content and Options. If I'm grabbing a splash image from the video itself, I'll need to know the second number. I will choose Generate Image from Video. And then when I go to save it, I'm going to select Reprocess Media Files. And that will re-encode your video.
When you say the second number, you mean time-wise. Which second in the video
yes.
do you?
Yeah.
Yes.
The timestamp in the video. So if you like your face at 10 seconds, you want to put 10 when it asks you for the second.
I would encourage everybody to take the 2 or 3 extra minutes that it takes to examine the splash image on any video that you upload to the site. If you're not looking at these, you may not notice for 2 months that video that you love and is awesome in every other way happens to have a really awkward first frame where one of your eyes is half rolled back into your head and your mouth is half open. That can really go a long way towards turning people off from watching the video in the first place. It's a simple and very straightforward fix to change it, and you can put whatever you want there. If you want to grab a still image from the video, like Allison said, perfect. You can go with some static image of your logo or something as well, just as easily done. But Allison, thank you very much. That was a ton of super helpful information on DIY video as well as how to best make use of it. A few things to recap here. Video being the important and proven tool that it is in terms of user engagement and conversion is a great opportunity for you to be creative in getting your message across, both on your site as well as elsewhere. We just covered the DIY aspect. We get asked this all. We have some, ultimately it's going to be up to you. We have professional videographers that we work with closely here in our studio, and they have proven more than willing in the past to give recommendations if you're looking for equipment upgrades or want to know, which camera should I buy, which lights are good or not good. If you have a ballpark budget and have a list of needs and wants, we would be happy to come up with some recommendations for anybody interested in learning more about the DIY side of things. Also, we offer video production ourselves too. There is something to be said for letting the professionals handle it in certain circumstances. If you're interested in learning more about how all that can help, you can check out additional details at fwmonsitevideo.com to learn more. Now, Molly, did we have any additional questions? Or also, if anybody has been saving their questions for the end, feel free to chime in now and we'll be happy to help you out.
So far, I don't see any questions, but if you guys have them, just stick them in that questions box and we'd be happy to answer them. And I just wanted to add to this, great job, guys, and thanks for this info. It was really good and kind of eye-opening for me as somebody who's already bought into the whole video marketing thing. But it's also, it never hurts to keep making more videos. I know a lot of people will decide, okay, I'm going to do video marketing, and they start with 10 awesome videos, and then they never update them and they never touch video again. And yes, those are awesome evergreen videos, but it's not going to hurt anything to kind of freshen up, show people, yes, we're still engaged, we're still active, we still have things to say, and then you can use those original 10 high-quality videos as your kind of standing evergreen pieces of content.
That's a great point. We get asked a lot in the SEO department, well, should I be doing content or should I be doing video? Video is content. If you want to work on producing one video a month plus 4 or 5 pieces of content or whatever the breakdown is, video is content in the same way that written articles are content. So if you're doing video, you are doing content. If you're doing content, you can certainly also be doing video. They aren't mutually exclusive.
And we have a great question from Jamie Johnson who said, should we limit to 1 video per page, or should you do a series of videos regarding the subject on a page?
So the 1 video per page standby is a great sort of starting point and a great sort of ground rule, but don't be afraid to deviate from that when the situation calls for it. If you have a great series of videos, a 5-part series about some in-depth, lengthy topic, feel free to spread them out over the course of a page. It may be worth considering, however, if you do have that much great content about a particular topic to split it up into multiple pages as well. If you have parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of a video, you could very easily, I imagine, create accompanying parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 written content to go along with it as well.
You also have the option to create a playlist on YouTube, which you can then embed the video onto your site, and the playlist will come up as the next available video, which might be a little bit of a better option if you don't want to clutter up a page with tons of embedded videos. You can just have one embedded video, and then the next suggested video will be the one that basically follows up that initial video that you've got.
Splitting them up like that, whether it's videos or written content or both, also is you're automatically creating your own social media calendar and email marketing campaigns as well too. Those sorts of things are great. If you've got a 6-part video series, publish part 1 on Monday, part 2 on Wednesday, part 3 on Friday, and tell them to stay tuned next week for the exciting conclusion. Getting people engaged in that way can be really simple if you're already producing within that framework, and you can kill several birds with one stone that way.
Good question here from Kathy. She said, when you say video is content, is that per Google's sense of content? And what keeps you up in the rankings?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. When we say, Google wants to see fresh content produced regularly, that includes the written stuff, articles, but it includes video as well. If you recall that case study that I went over at the beginning of our presentation, just adding more video to the site was tremendous in increasing the amount of times that site was being seen per month in searches, and the amount of times those videos were being clicked upon as well. So yes, it's from the eyes of Google that I'm talking about when I say video is content, yes.
Another good question, is it beneficial to provide a transcript for the video in the text rather than, is it beneficial to provide the transcript of the video in the text of the blog post with the video?
So DSS is kind of unique in that you're able to do both. It is absolutely beneficial to have transcript of video available for, again, people who are watching at work and perhaps are not able to view the video or are not able to view the video with sound. It's also a great way to cover any accessibility issues, people who need to be able to read or utilize a screen reader or a text reader but may be visually impaired and aren't able to actually view the video. So to make sure that you're able to get in front of every possible relevant visitor who may be interested in you, the transcript is a very useful function and very beneficial. Now, when you create a page when you create a video in DSS, that video page that gets created is an excellent place to put that video transcript. That video can also be attached to any other relevant page as well. If it's about topic X, you probably have a few other pages on site also related to topic X in one way or another. You can also attach that video, but not the transcript necessarily, to those other relevant pages so it can be seen by anybody who's looking at that topic from any possible angle.
Another good thing to do when transcribing is to use that on YouTube, because like Jamie mentioned earlier, people are oftentimes doing their research while they're at work, and if they want to see the video and know what you're saying but not necessarily blow their cover and let everyone in the office know that they're maybe not 100% focused on what they should be doing, they can still see what you have to say if you transcribe it on YouTube. And you can actually download that file and add it to your Facebook videos, which is really helpful, so you don't have to go through and transcribe the whole thing again. And they'll help you with the transcriptions. It's not 100% accurate, but they do a pretty good job with it.
Facebook's automated transcription is pretty good these days, and it's getting better all the time.
And Phoebe asked, and this is a good question, is it better to redo an old video that is poorer quality, or do you want to just leave it there so it can rack up all the views that it already has plus what's coming next?
So there is an argument to be made for not wanting to abandon a video that's getting a high number of views over time. Videos that have proven themselves popular tend to rank better within search results, and you don't want to throw that away necessarily. It's always going to be a judgment call, video to video. Your personal taste for being willing to part with however many views it has versus the potential upside of the new, better produced video. It's There are too many moving parts to give a blanket answer, but those are some of the things that you want to keep in mind. Is the current momentum that the older, quote, worse video has worth keeping, or is it perhaps worth the temporary setback to get the new, better, more highly produced video out in front of people?
And also, I'm sorry.
Another thing to keep in mind is if any information gets updated, like your phone number or your website URL or your firm name changes, that definitely needs to be updated.
Absolutely. And I have seen somebody kind of handle Phoebe's question with what I thought was a really good strategy. They had an old video that was getting tons of views, but they hated the quality of it, and they were like, oh, I just don't like myself in that video. I want to redo it, but I don't want to lose all the views from it. So they made an updated video and basically said in the older video, they added to the description of the video, you can see basically my updated video on this subject here and link to it. And they said the same thing from the newer video, linked back to the older video. And then they just basically covered the same topic and expanded on a few of the things without drowning out the core message that was there to begin with.
You can use those pop-up clickable boxes on YouTube videos called annotations to point people to an updated video as well. This is increasingly relevant if you have a video about a particular topic that maybe a law changed or something fundamental changed in the way that things get interpreted going forward, and you don't want to throw away the momentum that the old topic has, but that information becomes out of date for one reason or another. Use the visibility that that video has as a very highly visible billboard pointing people to the new updated information.
All right, well, thank you guys so much. It looks like we are out of time and overtime and out of questions. So thanks for everybody for joining us and for your engaging questions. This is great. And if you all have any additional questions, you can feel free to email any of us here. We look forward to seeing you guys next month when we talk about user experience and how to leave a lasting impression.